Dragons, boys.
Hell
I
yes.
suppose.
Yeah, guys, good session. I gotta go.
All right, later, dude.
Good to see
Damn
you,
it.
Tony.
All right. Who wants to recap what happened last time?
Oh shit! Did I write down?
I feel like it's been a minute since we played.
I
mean,
recapped
obviously we
last
did
time, but
the-
I'll tell you what I wrote down, which I don't think is much.
Okay.
I wrote down back at the Valzar Mansion. We decided to go back to Adamar's to clean up prior to Revels. Everyone is already celebrating. Holiday for the independence of the working class. I put that in parentheses for why they weren't celebrating for our victory. They were celebrating for that.
Yep.
And then I put "We party!" Period! Exclamation point. Doctor gets drunk and pukes on a girl.
Oh, that all happened last session?
Yeah, I know.
That was all
That's
last
so
session,
weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we tried to set him up, and then he pukes all over her.
Yeah.
The next day, our stronghold floats overhead on a disc. Oh, yeah, and then we covered everything that was in our strongholds.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. I
All right.
remember Dr. Siegfried wasn't like super keen on being there, and then I think I remember like him and Tiago kind of like had a little tiny spat.
Well,
and
can
Tiago
I
just said,
I was going
Yeah,
to
go
share
ahead.
what I wrote down specifically in that
please do,
notes
man.
because I said
Yeah.
I discuss my aversions to Adamar and how the floating fortress is separating us. He told me I was being difficult and left. That's how I
And I
recapped it.
think I even ended it with like, "Fix my fucking sword" or something. Like,
No, I think
Derek,
the
I
ending
apologize.
line was "You're being difficult" and then left. So then I was like, "This motherfucker,
That's
I'm gonna
right.
make
And
the
he made, like,
best
a
sword
beautiful sword.
ever." And then
But
I
you haven't
did.
given it to me yet.
That is
right?
correct. Because
don't
I was
have it.
still hoping to, at the end, to make it magic or like to silver it or like just to make it so it can't get dissolved again. But we'll see how that goes. I still got to do some stuff with that.
And we had three. We had like the Peregrine, knock one back, and then the dojo, and then the laboratory are like all the things that we kind of built. Is what it sounds like within the city.
Sounds about right.
That's
The
basically what I wrote.
lavatory. Don't forget the lavatory. Caesar. Cool.
All right. So with that, you are all in your fortress. You've sort of gotten used to your new abode, at least to some degree, at least your specific section of it. Getting a little bit of fun times, exploring all the interconnected tunnels that go underneath the several different portions here. And we'll pick up the following day. You've all gotten yourself a nice long rest, except for maybe your artificer who's been hard at work all night. But with that, what would you guys like to do?
I'm going to begin the day with meditation at sunrise, admiring the sun coming up.
Very nice. You do, and you feel like really calmed, and you're actually surprised to see like a few other people who apparently have been like meandering around your bars and stuff last night and ended up sleeping out in this dojo area, and they wake up and some of them just kind of like drunkenly stumble away or hungover stumble away depending on how drunk they were maybe, but there are a couple who actually sit there and like if you guide the meditation they'll like follow along.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll make it a point that the sunrise is the pinnacle of the meditation. But when I notice there's more people that are there prior, then I will kind of lead in teaching to properly meditate. Maybe even giving quick, harsh corrections to those that run their mouths too much.
Very nice.
Yes, this music's awesome.
What is
Is it
this from?
morning right
It
now?
sounds familiar.
This is from Skyrim.
That's probably why. I have, I guess, is there a way to do, essentially put a magical sheen on top? Like, I don't want to necessarily give it, like, any magical benefits. I just want to make it so that it technically counts as a magic weapon, you know? Or like so if the same thing were to happen in the thing that like dissolves, you know, how it dissolved the non-magical weapons, just
right.
essentially
so
to
you
cover
can hit
that
ghosts and things.
Yeah, silvering
Sure.
is also a possibility. I have the gold to get silver,
Sure, sure. Just go ahead and roll me an arcane check. Just arcana check to see if
Okay.
you can get it going.
Okay. Is this like to do to do it? Because
To know how to
to know how to do it.
do it.
Because I'm like, I got a bunch of random shit I can add on to. Ooh, Arcana plus 9. That is going to be a 27.
Okay. With your newly reinstated memories, you do remember a time where you were very intimately involved in the creation and implementation of magical devices. And you definitely know how to add simple enchantments like that. Depending on how elaborate you want to get, we would be talking some gold piece expenditure here. But if you just literally want it to be classified as like a +1 magical weapon, you could probably do that just with things lying around the laboratory.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll make it if +1 is a possibility. If I
Mhm.
think I can reasonably get it done, and I will essentially, when I sort of decide that for myself, I'll go the entire whole 9 yards to get this done and ready, and I'm gonna hopefully like be done with it by at least noon.
Mhm.
So I'll cast Tireless upon myself, making me 3 times as quick. And then for my my alchemical tools magic item, I will prepare the cleric spell Guidance.
Ooh, very nice.
And then as I begin making the thing, I will cast Guidance upon myself to give myself an extra d4 to
All right,
whatever the
roll a
check is.
very buffed tinkering check using your dexterity.
So that is so proficiency and dexterity.
Yes, sir.
All right, so it's going to be 12. It's going to bump it up to a 20. Then the d4 from guidance is going to be 4, so that's 24. And then I will, right off the bat, expend one of my Flash of Geniuses to give me +5
Hmm.
to give me 29.
Very nice. It's one of those things that you start doing it, and your mind just sort of wanders off of it, and it's like your body moves without you telling it what to do. It's like because these memories were disjointed from you in this weird way, it's almost like remembering someone else doing it, but following their motions to such precision that it's clear that you have this talent inside of you. And it feels good. It feels natural for you. It's like almost more what you're meant to do than maybe like fighting and like adventuring. Like this is kind of like what your real calling was before you got mixed up in all this. And you get it knocked out in like an hour and a half. I mean, and it's intricately carved and designed. It does have like little like silver edging to it, though it's actually not metallic silver. It just has like that impression. Is there any other like specific designs you wanted to include? I mean, you pretty
Oh
much
god,
knocked it out of the park.
I said everything I did last session. I
Oh,
described the
okay.
blade.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like this. It was like moonlight was like constantly like dripping off. Oh god, I got to go back and look and see what I
Mm.
said because I gave this very intricate description. Um,
Well,
but
either way, you get whatever sort of ornamentation you would like with a 29,
right, and
and
then
it's a +1 magical weapon.
all right, and then with my final flourish, in that process, I will sort of mark alongside the top of the hilt, right next to the blade. I'll inscribe its title in Elven, of which I have decided to call it Kin Killer, the Emperor's Folly.
Oh my god.
Mm.
So it is a fantastic sword that Tiago will undoubtedly love, but I did name it Kin Killer, the Emperor's Folly, specifically in relation to his kin who wants to
I
be
get it.
emperor, if you catch my
How?
drift.
Yeah, I got it. How obviously do you inscribe this? I mean,
It's
Adamar is also an
real,
elf.
real little. It's on the. It's like right where the hilt meets the blade. I just kind of like get some little
Okay.
writing. Um,
And it's in Elven, you said?
You know, Adamar is not a fan of his dissenters.
and then that's just the sword's name. That doesn't have anything to do.
Of course.
Adamar, that's
Right.
not about you, dude. You need to stop thinking.
Yeah. Not everything's
Not
about.
everything's about you,
Right.
Adamar.
Exactly.
It's the other emperor.
He's so vain he thinks
It's all
that's
the
what it's
other
about.
emperors, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. Tiago, where would you be?
I was gonna say probably in the night. I meant to do this between sessions. I was gonna write Siegfried a letter actually, and probably either like slide it under his door, slide of hand it, or like leave him a bottle of wine from the Peregrine. with this letter as well. So I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah.
What would you like the letter to say?
I wish I had written it, but essentially I just wanted to kind of write to him about how recently he had talked about how like he was conflicted because he didn't feel like he was really a man or a human or whatever because of the body he inhabited, and how I just wanted to write like a letter basically saying that like your soul is what defines you. Basically, it's not the body that you inhabit. Like if people judge me based on the body that I was in, the name that I had, they would think I was just a blood drinking, massacring Zuri, and I'm not. But it's like your mind that is what makes you what you are, basically, and that it's what you do that defines you, not who you are underneath, but or whatever, Batman. But then ultimately, like, and that like I disguise myself all the time to accomplish different things, but ultimately, like I'm still the same person underneath when it matters, and that he's been right about me in a couple occasions where I picked selfishly, and that I'm going to do my best to not do that in the future, and that I'll do whatever it takes to like make sure that this party works out and that we like find a way to work together. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all. I think that's about all I was going to write out.
Okay. I'll say
Yeah.
that Dr. Siegfried, as you're opening the door to go deliver the sword, you see a bottle of wine sitting there with like a note attached to it. You clearly had not noticed it previously because you were very transfixed in what was going on in your laboratory.
I'll look around first and like think that it's a trap, but then I'll like pull it back in, like read the letter, and then like as my pace of like my eyes darting back and forth like slows, and I'm like, ah, shit. And then I look at the sword inscribed with the insinuation that it's going to be used to murder his own brother. I'm like, ow, shit. All right. And then I'll put the wine down in my quarters, and then I'll go try to find Tiago wherever he's at.
I'm gonna, if it's okay with Dan, I'd like to join his meditation class and
Well,
just
son
kind
of a bitch, I was headed there next, so it's might as well, dude.
I thought you were gonna say that you grab the Dremel and you're like,
stand that out.
you're like scratched it out.
Savior of Ken, yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna stroll into the dojo, after the sunrise meditation session, and in my hand, I have my shield deployed that extends out from my wrist device, and I have the rapier in hand. As I approach, I look like I'm all ready for battle.
A couple of the servants that are like kind of working the grounds look over and like scatter away from you.
I'll stand up and direct you towards the dojo area. But when you walk up to the edge of the mat, I will motion. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just motion for you to stop, and then I will demonstrate how you bow before you walk onto the mat.
How do you bow before you walk on the mat?
Always look eye. Always look eye. You step,
I am
legs
very
together,
timid.
hands at your side, and you bow respectfully, and then you can walk onto the mat.
That's how we did it in Taekwondo. I like awkwardly like kind of look, and I'm like trying to follow the formalities and not offend you. And I'm gonna kind of walk
I would
up.
say you're a very proper person. You do it very, exactly.
And I'll like sort of flip the rapier around, hilt downward, and I'll sort of go to like hand it out. In my last sort of attempt to throw something pizzazzy on there, I'm going to use one of my magical tinkerings to imbue the hilt of this sword that you can use an action, and it emits the smell of lavender in case the not bathing rigament. That's not the word. Regiment. I don't know. The people we don't bathe a lot and we kill a lot of stuff. The smell's gonna get bad. Lavender. Just a little. Anyways, despite that,
I
it's like
like that a
this
lot.
the
That's super
golden
cool.
hilted, the swirled sort of like hand guard, the blade that is like constantly gleaming this moonlight on one edge, and it smells good. And I give it on over to you.
You hand it to me?
Uh, I
To
was Tiago is
Oh, he's here. I didn't realize he was here. Okay.
Yeah, I would assume I'd be meditating. Is everyone like sitting down where they're meditating? Probably. Or what do you picture then?
Well, Dr. Sue, you're waiting for the meditation to be over, so I assume people are like standing up and
Oh,
leaving.
okay, yeah. Good point. Gotcha.
Maybe getting some
Okay.
fresh fruits. There's probably like some people walking around, fruit offers.
That doesn't look like my sword.
It's not. It's better.
You hand it to me.
Mm.
I guess I'll like kind of like hold it and balance it before I even remove it from the scabbard to like just test its weight and stuff. It seemed like pretty perfect. I would assume it probably is.
Yeah.
I'll like take a couple steps back and then like quickly like unsheath it and then just kind of like level it just to feel its like weight and everything.
Feels good. Really, really good. Better than your other sword for sure.
And you crafted this.
This one will not melt.
I'm gonna like kind of balance it like with the blade, like with the hilt on one end and then like throw it up in the air and catch it. It's nearly perfect. You made this for me.
You told me I was being difficult. I decided to show you that perhaps I am difficult, but my process of crafting weapons is not. It is in fact very easy for me to make these things.
I'll like sheath it. Like actually, I'm gonna pause for a minute and look at the inscription and kind of squint. Or do I see the inscription? Is it like in any way discreet, or is it like if I looked at the blade, I'd see it?
Well, it's so if you're wielding the blade, especially if like in that like pointed like leveled motion,
Mhm.
like just staring like just over the top of it, I'm sure you
Oh
would
yeah.
get like the perfect glance.
Yeah, I'll just look at it and kind of hearing the words you're saying, kind of look at you and then sheath it.
It's sort of an artistic description. Don't worry about the title.
I'm gonna get pretty close to Dr. Siegfried and extend a handshake.
Sure. All right.
Now I'll bring him in real close and give him a bro hug. But as we're in close, I'm gonna say, "Don't tell my brother, but that is the most beautiful sword I have ever been given. Thank you."
For you, I could make 10 more just like it, or perhaps even finer. Although, that is not why I am here today, and I look towards goal as well. And from now that you've been sort of given your weapon, and I want to pull out the moon sickle, which looks very similar in like the moon gleaming aspects because this one was from the moon. But and I say, I I recently remembered my old life as a scientist, and it has come to my attention that that is what I was meant to do in life. However, that is not the current situation I find myself in. So, Goal, I figured since this dojo is here, we might as well use it. I was wondering if one of you, or both, could teach me about how to fight. I've never learned formally.
I'm in a different state of mind here in my dojo meditation area, and I just simply nod. And I direct you to the center of the mat. Are you going to use that? Is it a short sword or a knife?
It's a sickle, so it's essentially like dagger sized.
Oh,
It's just curved.
okay.
That's the only melee weapon I got, and I'm gonna be wielding it from now on, essentially, unless something changes.
Okay. So I will go grab something of similar length out of my practice rack. But
Are they wooden or metal?
Yeah, like a wooden short sword, let's say.
Okay.
And then we will start with lesson number 1. And I'll stand in a on guard position and kind of suggest that you do the same. And when you're not paying attention, I'm going to hit it at the base of the handle and knock it out of your hand.
Okay, roll an attack roll.
Natural 20.
Oh no. My
It's
hand
kind of
is
a waste of a
shattered.
natural 20.
He catches you like right across the knuckles and like lifts the blade out at with the same motion. It does not feel good. It hurts a lot. I mean, it feels like, getting smacked in the knuckles with a piece of wood. Your sickle like goes clattering off toward the side of the mat.
Hey,
You like almost lose your balance too. It's bad.
The first lesson.
Indeed. Lesson
Tiago,
number.
are you watching?
Always
Totally
retain your
got the
weapon.
playlist for this.
Always be ready for an attack. Lesson number 2. Now retrieve your weapon.
And I'm gonna look at you, and I'm like, is this also a test? Or
So as you walk towards your weapon, I'm going to be walking towards you.
and I like reach down. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, hey, stop! What are you doing?
Very good. Yeah, I'll back off and let you pick it up.
See, I have caught on already.
And then, for the sake of not explaining everything, I will show you a couple of sword tactics, starting with blocking and parrying. And then we'll work towards rudimentary defense and offensive measures. Something that you can practice over and over and over again. And I'll show you maybe, let's say, 4 different moves: block, parry, slice, and lunge. And then I'll set you at a wooden dummy to go after we practice some defensive, where I have slow attacks and show you how to do defensive slow.
At first, with like the wooden dummy, I insist that this is like too mundane for me, but then my absolute failure to even stand up to you in physical combat just like immediately humbles me, and I'm like, well, I guess it's a wooden dummy for me.
Within
But when we
like 30
practice-
minutes, your entire body's just aching.
I'm sweating, I'm
from being
unbuttoning my
hit and
dress
also
shirt.
being sore. And
Is it break time yet?
Has anybody seen the Mask of Zorro, the first one?
We just watched it not that long ago.
I love that movie. It's kind of a
Mhm.
stupid movie, but I think it's
No,
great.
dude, so good. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
Anthony
Antonio
Hopkins
Hopkins is
Banderas?
in that.
him how to use the cutlass, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Now attack, slow," and he kept saying slow, and then every time he lunges, he just parries down, parries
Mhm.
down, parries down, and then they slowly. So after the harsh lesson, we get into the first 30 minutes of where it doesn't seem like I'm trying to just make you feel stupid. Trying to teach you slowly.
I sort of like, you see, as Siegfried like tried to like initiate this as like a sort of downtime activity and did not expect an entire several hour endeavor and workout session, so I've gotten a little bit more off than I can chew.
I definitely like circle them as they're doing this whole thing, occasionally chiming in, not to step on Goal's toes or anything, but just to provide any feedback that might be helpful, like footwork, things that essential things that everyone must learn if they're keeping the blade faced at your opponent instead of between you and him, never all over here to the side or whatever.
point your toe.
Right, exactly.
So I'll nod in acceptance, and then whenever Siegfried gets tired, then I'll say, "Would you care for a demonstration of what we just practiced at a little faster speed?"
Yes.
And then I'll motion for Tiago to come over.
All right. With wooden swords.
That or kill each other.
I mean, you're fine. You can hack off
This-
some limbs and reattach them.
Nah,
This is
This is for demonstrative purposes, of course. Let's practice what I've taught him at twice the speed, which is still fairly slow.
Yeah, it's probably about this time that you like think back to watching these two like actually fight, and you don't really remember it because they're always moving so fast. And then you like think about what you've just been doing, and you're like, I will never be at that level. Without
I'm
an
like-
immense amount
like
of
every
training.
time I've used my weapon, it is a hack, and it is
Yeah.
just raw luck if I hit it or not. And these guys are like talking about technique and all this crazy shit. It's a whole new world for me.
Goals literally punching like 5 times every 6 seconds. Like,
Come, Tiago. Let us
All right.
show him how to put what he's learned into action.
Yeah, Tiago doesn't really say anything. He just picks up a sword and kind of enters the arena, kind of calmly and slowly.
So I'm going to say, if we start, we're doing a mutual. I'll slowly pick up the speed as a demonstration, and we'll just go faster and faster until we reach a civil pace, but fast enough to make the doctor appreciate what he's learned, and that even simple moves can be effective.
I'll follow his lead, yeah. If he doesn't do anything fancy, nothing too crazy, he didn't try to take me down,
No,
I'll respect that. I'll
not just a
I'll
contest.
spar
Just
fairly and equally, yeah.
you're somebody that can keep up. So
Right, for sure.
cool. That's badass. All right, Aiken, what are you doing?
So, if we're on the base, are we like in the air, or are we like docked next to a city?
I believe that you guys docked at Joracost to like pick people up and stuff.
Okay. Are there? I think I'm gonna go explore into the city and like
Okay.
walk around with my dog.
All right.
More or less like a shopping district, perhaps, or maybe a. And it because it is in the morning, I'm not gonna look for a tavern or anything.
Right. Let's see. Jorcast has the new district, which is basically like all of these new buildings with where basically everyone lives and works, and it's a collection of everything from like manufacturing to areas for different designers, different lawyers, that kind of thing. But there is a large like marketplace in the center of it. Yeah.
I think I will venture into the market center looking for like anything related to my common interests. So like, nautical things, bow and arrows, anything related to dogs,
Okay.
armor for animals.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
That will be natural 20 on the computer dice roller.
Oh.
Okay, a natural 20.
100% of our rolls have been 20s at this point,
Uh,
I think.
gotta be close to it.
Aaron caught that up.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
anyway.
I got a 29, but I did not roll a 20, unfortunately.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I feel so bad for you. Well, with a natural 20, you find a lot of things that interest you, not least of which is you see an old ring racer. He's got this sort of like leathery skin, like slicked back hair. He still wears like a leather cap and leathers that you use in the sport. Long, kind of like tangled white beard, leaning up against a hunk of metal that's sort of intertwined with different propellers and units. But it's much larger than your average ring racer construct here, and it's obviously not used for the sport. It's relatively easy for you to surmise, especially with your natural 20, that this is a vessel that is good for either nautical or aerial travel. It's sort of a dual purpose system that he has developed seemingly independently. He's just kind of like looking at it, and it just has a big sign on it that says, to anyone who's willing to fix it.
While I walk up with my dog, I say, "What do you got here? What is this?"
Hey, got nothing but a hunk of junk. Doesn't fly worth shit. He kicks the thing. You hear it kind of like clang. You hear like pieces inside of it like move around and fall. Like it's a disaster.
Like, what? So I fix it, I keep it, right? As I'm like trying to pull out.
No fixing this thing. He like kind of like shoves it a little bit. Like he seems very agitated by this thing. Got scammed by some fucking. It doesn't matter. If you want it, it's yours. Good luck fixing the hunk of shit.
How like big is it? Like, how will I move it?
It's pretty large. You assume that you could not carry it for sure. You'd have to have it moved in some way. You think that's probably part of the reason he doesn't want to deal with it.
Well, I'll say, I'll take it off your hands then. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. You'd be doing me a favor. Especially if you can fix it up. Give it a good life. Well. What did you say your name was?
Aiken. And that's Proteus right there.
Good looking dog. And it goes up and like pets your skeletal dog.
Yeah.
Well, make yourself at home. Not my problem anymore. You know, kind of like grumbles and like walks off.
Yep. Not anymore. And I like attempt to like start working on it.
Okay. Looking it through, it's gonna take some work, but the core of the structure is really sound. And it's cool. It has this really like lightweight frame that's all built for speed. And you can tell that there's this sort of like retractable, or was at one point retractable before it's all broken to shit, retractable roof that can like go over the top of it for aerial and maybe even submerging if you were like wanting to go underneath the waters. You think that it might be capable for that as well. Especially with a little bit of fine tuning. But it has like this retractable roof. It has these propellers that like fan out behind it for when it's underwater to like navigate, or when it's on top of water to navigate. But then in the air, it has these propellers that like are internal to the thing that spin and like pull air through the ship.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, like, I think I'd like to attempt to, like, work on it a little bit, just to, like, not start it, or not to function it, but, like, to where I could potentially, like, move it, I guess. I guess it doesn't have wheels, so I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I mean, you think it's going to be really tough to, like, get it to a place that it is, like, a functional airship.
Right.
I mean, you think, you know, depending on what you're willing to do, Adamar, you think could move this easily. As he has moved literally an entire airship by himself while that is currently flying through the air.
Yeah, I think I'll go talk to Adamar. Just go back to wherever I think he would be. I'll leave Proteus with the airship, though. Like,
all right, he like stands guard.
I'll make sure he has his sword in his mouth.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's actually pretty intimidating.
Nice.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, you go back and you see Adamar is still at your complex, your fortress here. He's in like the central hub area, sitting at the large round table. He's like reading a book.
I'll like knock on something. You got a minute, Adamar? Am I interrupting your book?
No, so.
Well, I got this vessel that I need help moving. I was wondering if you could give me a hand, or if you've got someone that could give me a hand.
Not too busy. Wouldn't mind checking it out.
Right this way, then. Let's see.
Sure. Now, tell me, do you think your friends are going to come around on the Valzyre issue? It closes the book as he like floats up a little bit, following you.
I don't Father T really much cares what happens to them for his own reasons, but I'm not sure. It's hard to speak on the others.
Fair enough. Well, it would certainly benefit all of us if I could just remove them from the playing field.
I'm sure it would. But what kind of problems do you think it would make? Do you think it'd be worth it?
Absolutely. I don't think it would make me any problems. It is you all who had an issue with it.
Yeah, well, it does seem pretty wrong, but I don't know him as well as you do. So
Sometimes the obvious choice is not the right one, Sir Aiken.
no sir needed. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just all have to have a sit down and talk about it. Like, just very it's like dad talk. Like, I don't know what to say to Adamar.
Your mother.
He stays relatively silent for the rest of the trip. And then you show up and he says, "This. You want this?"
Yep, this hunk of junk.
Certainly this can't be put back together. I mean, what is this? He like holds up a part of it.
Oh, that's the rear view wheel steering converter. Yeah.
Is this important? Do we need this?
Yes, of course.
He just like drops it back into the pile. All right, well, get on board.
I like hop on it. I like whistle Proteus to come up.
He like jumps up. Adamar just like raises his hands, and you see this disc like span out underneath of it and like lift it into the air with you guys on it. It like slowly lifts over to your place. He seems like almost bored by this.
Yeah, we're cruising.
Yes.
And as like we approach the fortress, I'm like, let's drop it right here, and like signal him to outside of our quarters.
He lowers it.
Well, that's all I really needed, Adamar. Is there any way I could repay you for this? Like, not repay you, but help you out with anything if you wanted.
There's one trifle of a matter. Really, it's not much of anything. Your organization, right? Your thing that you've got, your people, what do you call yourselves again? Something with the serpent thing?
The Court of the Leviathan? Is that what you're talking about?
Thank you. Yes, always slips my mind. You're working in multiple cities, right? Sort of involved in the local scenes.
You could say that, yes.
Great. If you get a chance, and really, you don't owe me anything, this was nothing, but if you do get a chance, I need some intel dug up on my old family, the Zernis.
Oh, yeah. No, that's yeah, I mean, easy. Done like that.
Okay, great. So, I'm not actually sure what's going on, but something big is happening in Inzarta. And, well, who else would it be? So I'd really like to know what it is that they're up to, and if it needs to be stopped. But if you could leave my name out of it, that would be great.
Info on Zeri's plans. Need to know if it needs to be stopped. Leave your name out. Anything I'm missing?
Well, unfortunately, that's about all I know. I just keep hearing whispers of big things happening. Big secret things. And I really don't have time to look into it. Nor do I want to.
we can organize something. Hopefully soon, if we can get the ship moving, or this sports car moving towards Insarda, if that's in the course.
Yes, good luck with that.
Thank you. I'll keep in touch with this.
I do appreciate it.
Of course. Well, I appreciate this as I'm like slowly turning to like start working on it.
Good. He just like starts walking off. One of the few times you've seen him walk, he usually hovers everywhere. He like walks.
Good
He seems
on
like a little bit like distracted. Like the whole time you're with him, he just seemed a little bit distracted.
Weird. Well, I let him go. And then I would like to start working on this.
Okay. Roll a tinkering check to see if you can even get a gauge on what is wrong or what is going on with this thing.
I just so happen to be proficient with Tinker's tools.
Who's not in this party?
That is 15.
Okay, so 15. It doesn't take you too long to realize that there is a central magical gemstone that is used to operate the vehicle. And it is currently malfunctioning and leaking energy. And that energy is causing these sort of outbursts of almost like electrical energy that just cascades through the entirety of the ship, consuming, destroying, combining pieces that aren't meant to be combined. That's causing some serious issues. That appears to be the core issue. But you think that you need to fix that before you start fixing other stuff that it will re-break.
Right. When I find that out, I'm gonna like immediately go. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go to. Dr. Siegfried has the tool that fixes everything, or the like molding tool.
Yes.
Yes, that is who I will go to, Dr. Siegfried. I'll go to his laboratory and.
Nah, I'm getting my shit rocked in the gym at the moment, not at the lab.
Yeah, you look all over for him, and eventually you find him like leaning up against a pillar at the dojo, just covered in sweat and bruises.
I'm like, I just like see that he's getting his workout. I say, oh, Dr. Siegfried, do you have a minute? I need some help.
Yes, whatever it is, yes. Boys, I am sorry, we will have to finish our lesson at a later date. I appreciate everything you have done, though. Good, yes, good work today. And I like, I'm like, all right, Aiken, let's go.
Did he do well? Did he learn anything? Like, how did he do?
That's a good point. Did I learn anything?
I would say it's up to you. I mean, mechanically, you already are proficient with the weapon, so I would say it's up to you, like how much comfort you've gained with it. You know, it wasn't an all-encompassing lesson by any stretch, but you at least probably feel more comfortable on your feet, you know, in these sort of situations.
You introduced the concept of fighting with another person as like sort of an equation, you know, like if they are this, then you need to rival the, like, you know, it's a set, it's a formula, you know, you got to plug it into. So that helped me out a little bit. So ultimately, I would say I am a little bit more enriched.
Good.
That's great.
Probably won't be taking on goal anytime soon, but hey, you're getting there. Now, if you have your gun, that would probably help.
If he gets better goal, maybe you can put him against one of. I'm gonna have a gesture to like any of the people that were meditating. Like he wasn't completely helpless, but he needs a lot of work.
But yeah, as he says his goodbyes, I assume we start walking. Dr. Siegfried, I start to tell him. I say, yeah, there's some kind of central gemstone. It's leaking and causing all sorts of reactions.
What are we talking about?
Where? Yeah. I'm trying to fix this air water ship that I recently have come across.
A vehicle of some kind?
Yes, a vehicle.
It seems, in my early time on the surface, I picked up just a bit of knowledge on the vehicles and how they work.
Well, this is a little different. It's used for the water and flying, so not surface vehicle, but it might be similar in function.
Are you itching to get back into the ocean? May I remind you that there is one angry creature down there waiting for us.
Well, there's a lot of angry creatures in the ocean that need no provocation to be angry.
There are a lot of angry creatures up here in the cities as well. I guess to be fair.
That we can agree. I'm not itching, but I think it would be useful in my nautical adventures to be able to fly through the water as a breakneck speeds rather than just swimming myself. Similar to how driving a vehicle on the ground is faster than walking.
Well, do not tell Tiago or Gold this, but I am still under the influence of the spell, which increases my productivity threefold.
So you're on drugs right now, is what you're saying.
Essentially, don't mainly do not tell them because I am still lagging behind incredibly at 3 times speed.
Fine by me.
However, that will aid me in this process, and then I will fall in the rest of the way there.
Yeah.
Okay. You get to what does not even appear to be a vehicle at first inspection. It is a collection of various parts, and it looks like in the process of being lifted and brought here, there was also additional damage done. You literally, as you're walking up, you see like this like small blue explosion from the interior of it. It's not good, but hey, you're here.
I remove my glasses, put my like welding blast goggles on.
I'm like, yeah, this is her.
She is a beauty.
You think so?
A bit of a fixer-upper. So you want me to figure this out?
Well, I've already got like the gist of the core of the issue. I just wanted to get your thoughts on like how to apprehend fixing it. This central crystal, like I mentioned, it's leaking some kind of strange fluid. It's causing unimaginable kind of reactions.
All right. And I take out what is essentially like the bottom like handle part of a like a screwdriver, and as I like snap it in my hand, it like telescopes out and like transformer unfolds into like a tool, and I like scoot under on my back and try to see if I can as well diagnose how to go about fixing this crystal battery.
Roll an arcana check.
That is.
Could I perhaps assist if it's needed? Like, oh,
Sure. Roll with advantage.
Put a flashlight up for you.
Yeah, thank God. And I will, as any person would when you're holding a flashlight for him, I'll be like, no, hold it right there. No, not there. No, you're pointing it wrong. It's here.
Like what?
Don't know if anyone has ever tried to fix anything with their dad before, but that is what it's like.
Yeah.
I got, with the advantage, that is a dirty 20.
Nice. Yeah, so you immediately identified the same problem as him. It's clear. I mean, there's like many explosions going off, little lightnings blasting from this blue crystal. And you actually have some familiarity with these power crystals. You know that in the Third Age, they were like mined from somewhere, but now they're like basically slowly being used up, and they don't know how to get more. But they're very important in a wide variety of modern machinery. So
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it's very important that you don't, you're like, well, we probably can't buy another one, so we need to fix this one. And just by visual inspection, you can clearly see that there is like a large crack in the crystal itself that is, the issue. And you don't think that you can like fix the crystal, but you think you might be able to build like a housing for it that will hold it in place, like hold the crack shut. Though it will always be a band-aid fix, and there's always like, if you hit by a big enough something. No. It might just explode.
We're carrying a nuke on our. Okay, well.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
As he's like saying, do you relay this, Dr. Siegfried?
Yeah. I'll tell you that it is a risk to be in at all moments.
I will follow up with, well, doesn't Tiago know how to mend things? Like, can't he mend metal? Is that something
as can I, as can I, as can Tiago, as can the father, as can my cat. It
You
is
have a cat?
I
When
well,
did you
sort of.
Oh. Oh, right.
Yes, that one. Speaking of, and I'll go, and out from my bag of holding, this fucking beast will claw its way out. And then I'm like, I need your help, Hellcat. And then like a compartment will open and it'll like start a little like butane torch in its hand. All right.
Aziz, light.
I will attempt to sort of put together something here, and we will test if it is even doable to be in and not take the damage to the structure inside.
Sounds good.
You seem to. I noticed that you are particularly good at holding that flashlight for me. Are you well versed in tinkering at all?
Yeah. I've done some tinkering before. I fixed one of those speed bikes a while back.
Hmm. Well,
But
then that is good. Then you can stay and aid in the process.
sure. As
If
I like.
if you would like. Sorry, I assumed that you were invested in getting
Oh,
this.
I would love to. I just don't want to be a glorified flashlight holder if that is what you are hinting at.
Mm.
But if it's needed, it's needed.
Well, it is up to you. I didn't mean to insist that you can only hold the flashlight.
I I like look first. And I could hold two flashlights if you needed.
And I mean, yeah, can I try to using I don't know, like try to make like a transparent cube to put this thing into so that we can like see it. So like to know if it's exploding, we like we could look at it to see if it's unstable, you know.
Sure, sure, yeah. Go ahead and, well, I guess you have your arcane compendium. Uh, so I would say you don't need a roll to just like make something. So you just create this some transparent holding case for it.
And then I'll try to implement it in whatever way I see is good.
Okay, roll a tinkering check with advantage since you have a he can help you.
Oh baby. Is it do I presume this would be a very difficult endeavor?
Moderately so.
Moderately difficult. Um I will use once again my own flash of genius to add to my own roll, giving me a bonus equal to my intelligence modifier.
Okay.
That is going to be tinkering is going to be plus 8. 23 plus 5 is going to be 28.
All right. Yeah, it wasn't that difficult, but with that, you're easily able to. You sort of have these different like spokes that come from it and place it. Um, almost like these metal bars that extend from this carrying case that you have it in, and now you can actually see that the gemstone like fluctuates and moves around as it operates, and as it does, it kind of like maintains its position within this, carrying case that you've built it. Though now any sort of like fluctuations or like electrical discharge are all contained, and the spokes kind of hold it in the correct position within the grander scheme of the machine. Uh, so at least that seems to be taken care of. Like I said, a bit of a band-aid solution, but it'll work.
And this, of course, is just a Mark 1 of this device. We can always improve from here.
Of course. I mean, for Mark One, it looks very good.
Not bad. Do
So
you now start looking toward the rest of the very broken vehicle?
Yeah.
now what?
Yeah, I will say that this is probably the first time you've really ever watched Dr. Siegfried work. He works like 3 times as fast as a normal human being. It's beyond bizarre to watch. All right.
Beyond bizarre.
You guys gonna keep rolling tinkering checks to try and fix stuff?
I certainly can, if you would, if you'd like me to.
All right, roll another tinkering check.
This one's not as great.
Did you roll with advantage again?
Still, that was the high. It's higher. That is going to be a 19. No,
Okay.
sorry, 18. 18.
All right. Yeah, so I will say the better part of, you know, the rest of the day, you guys spend working on this. It's very, summer in an 80s movie. You guys are like trying to turn the car over. It doesn't work the first 8 times. It's like you guys moving around, doing stuff, fixing stuff here and there. You like spinning all these propellers to make sure they're good, add a little oil to them. Point of the matter is, over the course of several hours, you get it to not a point of brilliance, but at least a point of functionality. You're not exactly sure how well the convertible top will work back and forth. It works, but it's not exactly a fluid motion in its transference.
Yeah, I wipe my brow and I throw the rag over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Even though I assume Dr. Siegfried is the one that is covered in most fluid.
Got the sleeves all rolled up.
I imagine you're both getting extremely involved in the process. I mean,
of
this
course.
is not.
He's not a
This is
flashlight
hours
holder.
work.
Okay.
Nice time. What do you say we call it a day?
And I put my goggles back up and I say, and I just have those intense fucking circles around my eyes. Well, unfortunately, the work is not done, my friend. For this vessel, it needs to be christened, and that is the job of its captain. And I kind of put my arm and slap your back, and I say, it is up to you to give this beautiful vessel a name.
Name? I don't know if I could. What if we got something to drink?
What if we think on it for a couple of minutes?
I'd love to sit and think. I'm just totally discombobulated. I'm gonna go get something to drink as I make my way to.
Of course. Could I haul this thing up to the fortress to store it there?
Yeah, I mean, it's already in your fortress area
Oh,
where you had
okay.
it landed.
I thought it was within the city.
No, yeah, he had it. Adamar bringing over here. So.
Perfect. Oh
That'd
yeah,
be funny
of course.
if
Fucking yeah.
If we were in the middle drawer cast, just bing bing.
You wouldn't stand out that much. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
honestly.
Drawercast after all.
No, we probably get other people being like, actually, you need to use your spider to. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, what do the other two of you do on this long day where they are working away?
I definitely want to. I know there's already some employees at the Peregrine, right?
Mhm.
Just some people that essentially work there.
Yeah, Adamar hired a guy who hired other people. He was like, "Yeah, they'll take care of it."
Okay. For the more secretive side of the the hidden gem or whatever, that's kind of literally hidden.
Mhm.
I don't want every employee to know about that, essentially,
Right.
if possible.
I was assuming
And I'd
none
like
did.
Yeah. I mean, I want it to keep it very discreet. Except for maybe the bartender, and maybe not even. Maybe I'd like to replace the bartender if possible with someone I know. Ultimately, what I want to do is compile a short list of people who are kind of frequent people that okay, so Tiago knows people within every city, I would assume, that he's done work with or gets things from or works
Yeah,
black market with. Stuff
we've
like that.
talked about your criminal contact here. He's the least trustworthy guy you've ever met.
Yeah, yeah, one of them. Yeah, so I guess I'd like to take the time to think about what people I would want to know about the hidden gem, and essentially if I could get them to work for me and be my eyes within each city. Do you know what I mean? That would be I'd like to make a list of people that I think I could trust they would be interested in doing work primarily for me at this like venue. They'd still spend time in the cities, but they're always welcome here. And I'd want them to like report back if I need something from a particular city. You know, I want to spend the time to like think of like who do I know in each of these cities.
Okay.
Obviously, I want to come up with all of it today, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something you want to do, Logan. And yeah, just that'd be something. Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, I'll say that you have a contact in each city, easy enough to do.
Okay.
You can think up the details if you want.
Okay.
Don't really care one way or another.
And is there a way I can like get a hold of people if I needed to? Like, I need to come up with a system for like how do people come to and fro, you know?
I mean,
to our city?
in the cities, there are like communication devices, you know, like not cell phones, but you know, magical cell phones, basically.
Okay.
You know, like you've seen Adamar like
All right.
take calls and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to make a short list of like trustworthy people within every city that essentially I want to make a deal with them to like work in my employ, essentially kind of work for me.
Okay,
That
sounds
sort of
good. Will you be paying them, or are you going to get Adamar in on this to pay?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think for the time being, I don't know. I'll have to come up with a solution because I'm not sure if I want Adamar to know every little detail, but I don't know. I don't know yet.
So for now, they're not getting paid.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds good. Goal, what are you doing?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to say that I spend half the day instructing, teaching, mainly peaceful stuff, meditating. Maybe I have a rock garden that I shape up. And then I will go wander the compound after that to look at some of the newly formed things that we've made.
Yeah.
What is the hidden place? What exactly is it? Is it like a tavern? Is it a bar? Is it a place to get food? Kind of all the above.
It's primarily like 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 a little bit of a tavern with like a meeting room and like some stuff, and then it also connects to like a secret or like home base that's on connected to your other bar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to go find. Hold that thought. Oh, I gotta go back in my notes here quite a ways. Oh, is it Tacitus?
Tacitus is a city.
Oh no, that's and Dan Corall,
Oh,
the monk
yeah.
that was praying over Shar.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna go look him up.
Okay.
Yeah, that was stupid. I had an arrow pointing to Tacitus, and I'm like, huh.
No, yeah, Dan Coral, he, like usually, is chilling in between the Roses Are Red and Violets Are Blue bars in that sort of like common connected area that branches into the old factory district where you see all these like old half crumbled buildings and things. He's just sort of like sitting there admiring it. This time he's like literally actively like just staring off in the distance, like looking at all these old broken and abandoned city. You know, it's not cities, but buildings. There you go. That's the word.
I'll just walk right up to him. Does he have a drink or food?
He does. He has like a small plate. Looks like he's already like finished eating. He has a drink next to it. He like clearly like makes note of you like approaching, like glances over, but he doesn't stop what he's doing. Doesn't even say anything.
I'll just walk up to him and kind of look off in the direction that he's looking at and see if there's anything that is worth admiring in that direction. And while I'm doing that, I'll say, I have something to show you, brother. When you're done eating and drinking, of course.
He stands up, picks up his drink. I'm done eating. Don't plan on being done drinking anytime soon. What do you want to show me?
Come with me. And I'm going to lead him
Like,
to. How do we get to
finishes the drink.
How do we get to our fortress if it's floating? How do we get up there?
It's currently docked to the side of Jorkost, so you can just
Okay, got it. So I'm going to lead him to the fortress and then up into the meditation area, and straight up to. I don't think I said this, but I definitely want to have a statue of resembling Shar, something to worship it in one of the places to worship. There's many places to do so. I'm going to lead him to that.
Is this truly her likeness? I know only of the word.
As do I, brother.
It will work.
It is a symbol.
How do you know of this place? What brought you here?
We designed it. You can say we built it.
You own this.
Indeed.
You have much yet to lose.
This is why I want you to run it while I'm gone.
Me.
People need to be shown the way, taught the word.
I saw what you did. He glances up to the sky. It was magnificent.
It was quite frightening. Shard led the way.
I could never teach in your stead, but if you command it, I will do what I can.
I can't always be here. Others need to be shepherded, shown the way if they want. Helping others is good enough.
So be it then. But I am no teacher. A student always, though I'll pass on what you teach me. And when you're ready, I will finally teach you something. I will show you where the keyhole of moonlight is. It is the next step on your journey.
How do you come by this information?
It is my purpose. Shar has one for all of us. You are finding yours, but you won't have found it till you lost everything. That is where I found mine.
I thought I was giving my life. It didn't work out that way.
Your journey is far from over. I have been sent before you by Shar to light the way. It was a very difficult journey, and I'm glad to be nearing its end, whatever that may be.
Perhaps you should journey with us then.
As I've said, I've already done my part. All that's left is to show you the keyhole. It's time for me to bask in her glory for the rest of my days. And he almost looks longingly back to the part of the city that's destroyed and in rubble.
Well, I trust you to show me whenever the time is proper. And if you'd rather be there,
No, there's nowhere I would rather be. We shall defend her honor and, more than that, spread her word. The people of Joracost have grown lazy, in times even materialistic. It's the wrong way to live. Maybe here we can make a cadre of those who know the way.
I'm going to actually come out of my normal expressionless face and actually show some that I'm pleased. I can't hold it back. I'm quite pleased with the situation.
He like grins fully when you do. Doesn't seem as apprehensive to show his happiness. It's okay to smile, brother. We're making progress. He like glances once up at the sky, like where the moon might have once been, and just says, "Lots of progress."
Indeed. I
How
would have
did
not.
it feel completing
I would
such
have
a
not
goal?
have. I would not have thought it possible. I'm. It's quite surreal still. Everything seemed laid out. It's easy to believe that it was the path. I knew what to do. Always. It was just fighting for the ability to do what I needed to do.
It took me a long time to realize that. It made my path much more difficult. Keep that presence about you. It will pay dividends. Trust me on that, brother. Now, tell me you have somewhere around here I can get a drink.
Right this way.
He'll follow you.
And I'll enjoy a drink with him.
Nice. All right, a very productive day. You guys are now well into the evening. Is there anything you guys want to do this evening, or are you just settling in, enjoying a nice long rest?
I think I will uncharacteristically enjoy my drinks.
Very nice.
Maybe more of them than I normally do.
Yeah, I think Aiken is gonna go also enjoy something to drink.
Okay. Are you all drinking at one of the public establishments or the private one?
I'd say the private one.
Okay.
I will, being worried about just Adamar being in here, but having been reassured slightly by Tiago and that training session I had, I'm just a bit rocky and curious about the future, not for myself, but of the group as an entity. And because of this, I would like to consult a, 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 a way to figure out what the future is going to be like as I pull out my Taraka deck that was bought from Madam something way long time ago. And for the first time on my own, having been prior a very intelligent literary man, I feel like I need to open myself up to faith or magic or maybe just superstition. And I just want to see how things are going to go.
Ardro. Madame Ardro.
Madam
A
Ardril.
long time ago.
Yep.
I found it, though.
Wow.
All right. Very nice. So
That was like Tiago's first session, right? Is that the one
Yeah.
that was on the dock or
Yep.
whatever? Yeah. Cool.
So you're pulling some cards here?
Yeah, I don't know how I don't remember what the like format of the card I don't remember what it is, how you pull it or how you read them, but
Me neither, but I will look it up. Let's see. Maybe.
Oh, actually, I recall from the last time we did it. The madam, whatever he said, pulled out 3 cards in order. One was the past, one was the present, one was the future.
Oh, yes, yes, I do remember this. Okay. Just need to find my cards.
I'm trying to figure out where I wrote that. Yeah. Yep, I have the readings for each of you written down because I was listening and I was confused as to what the things meant. Like Aiken's first card, his past was the executioner, his present was the innocent, and the future was the traitor. And that one really concerned me that the traitor was in his future, and I forgot about that until I just read it now. So I'm glad I reminded myself.
All right. Sitting there, you draw your first card, and it is the Evoker. Apparently represents your past in some way. Your second card, the present, is the Horseman. And your third is the Bishop.
Alrighty, and then I'll try to figure out what those mean on the.
You try and think what these might symbolize.
Yeah, try to figure out what those mean.
Okay. Roll an Arcana check.
I was in the room and I wrote down the results of the readings the first time we did it. So I was just trying to check if there's any like that we have gotten previously. But I don't think there is. Arcana is going to be a 21.
Yes, you think the Evoker clearly indicates your past having your unnatural birth, to say the very least, into this new body. You think that that's a clear illustration of your coming into being and how it's maybe not part of the natural world order. Maybe that's not something Sky Witches are a big fan of, kind of thing. The second being the Horseman is probably a little bit daunting to you. A clear indication of the apocalypse in some degree. You weren't sure what exactly that could be referencing, but you can only imagine what that might lead you to in the coming days and weeks. And the final being a bishop is an interesting turn, considering your new recountenance to faith, your rejoining of your old religious ways. You're trying to unveil the gods, and you think, if nothing else, it's definitely an indication that you will one day be successful. You and Father T, with the bishop joining union with the gods, bring them back into the material plane. That's your best guess at it, anyway.
Oh shit. Okay. So if the future looks bright, if not the apocalypse happening currently. So
yeah, you did blow up a moon. Maybe it means that.
we do a lot of stuff that could be related to the apocalypse.
Moderately apocalyptic things.
We might need a new profession.
Moderately apocalyptic.
Making this guy emperor, blowing up cities.
Which bar is everyone at this evening?
The Hidden Gem.
We are at the Hidden Gem.
I'll show up, but I'll stand in the back. I'll stand in the back a little bit. Like, I don't want to presume, so I just.
There's like literally just you guys there, so it's very awkward for you to be standing in the back by yourself.
It's kind of looking at stuff.
You see only one person you don't know.
Who's that? The bartender?
No. Well, I suppose if it was a bartender. I was talking about Dankro, the other monk that Goal brought.
Come over here, Doctor. Come over here.
All right, yeah. I'll come on over and like the sound of me pulling out the chair echoes through this empty ass bar. I'm like, hello, I was not anticipating coming down, but I figured, why not?
Well, tell the bartender what you want and meet a brother of mine. This is Dan Quarrel.
Hello, sir.
I'll serve drinks.
Oh, yeah, you're just serving the drinks for everyone?
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Nice.
I'll be behind the bar.
Give him something fruity but light.
I think I know. Like, go look.
Okay. It's an extremely well-stocked bar. It is magically refrigerated, so you have a variety of fruit juices all available to you. And they're all sort of partitioned into these it's almost like individual like glass flasks and vials and things, each one like meticulously labeled. Like it's very Adamar, you know.
I'm gonna look for a particular drink that I actually had in a different D&D campaign a long time ago, called Scountin, and it's like a pear cider kind of thing, like a pear, like almost like mead, but like with pears and like cinnamon in it. I'll give them that if I have
Okay.
any, if there is any.
I mean, yeah, I'll say that you have like a few different meads. So you select one, pour it. You know, you add a little bit of fresh pear. You do add just a touch of pear juice, and then just some grated cinnamon on top. Call it a day.
It's like super fresh. It's like super tasty. Try this.
Yeah, that is good.
Good.
So, is this all what you all do here? Do you talk about anything in particular?
Dan Coral like looks up. They were just telling me some of the stories of what you've been through. Quite a list. The moon, ground,
Yeah.
couple of cities in your under your belts.
The moon will probably be the most impressive of our feats.
I don't know. You did meet Gelatavar. That's really something.
Who?
The youngest councilman ever.
Ah,
You know, he's a prodigy.
yes, that's
Over
right.
here.
I don't know him personally, but
You even met the Divine Emissary. That's insane, right?
those two are related.
Twin brothers, yes.
I figured I had, but I have not had that confirmed yet by someone who knew.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got mixed up in that religion for a while. Finally found my way though. He like raises glass of whiskey over to Goal.
Oh, do you share a religious background with Goal?
I do, yeah. That's right.
Are you familiar with Goal's significance?
I'm the one who told him.
Ah. See, Goal, this is the thing I was talking about on the moon that you've forgotten about, and then I felt like perhaps I may have told you information you did not know. But yes, the Moonwalker, right?
Yep.
It is fascinating for me to learn. I used to be very against the idea of the gods, but now I have a newfound appreciation for them.
Well, we all went through tough times early in our life, getting confused. It's good to be back on the right path, though.
Tiogo, I believe I have not heard you echo either way if you are for or against any of the gods of our great pantheon.
Don't talk too loud. Looks like a holy man's walking in now. He gestures as the doors open. You see Father T finally making his way in.
No, that is just a Toral.
Oh,
I'll wave him in.
What did you say your name was again?
you asked it.
I'm asking.
Dan Coral.
Yeah.
DANCORIL. Dan Coral.
Dan Coral, I can appreciate that that goal and you share a religion. And I'm glad to meet your acquaintance. It's good to have something in common. We need as many allies as possible, but as for the whereabouts of this particular section of the bar, I would expect that you not tell anyone about it existing or how to get down here. Does that make sense?
Of course. Goal is very clear. I'll be running the shrine and the dojo when he's not around.
Good.
Perhaps I could
I'm gonna
train with you
refill his drink.
instead. Not that I did not enjoy your training, it is that I have a burning sensation in muscles that I did not know I had. Perhaps you are all a bit too advanced for me.
You have muscles?
Yeah,
Where?
yes, exactly. It has
I'll
been a rough day.
refill his drink as well.
I'm gonna
What's up,
say
Will?
I start. Hey, good to see you, buddy. I start to feel kind of twitchy, and I've felt this a couple of times since the moon incident. And I'm gonna stand up and kind of slowly uh, back away. And I've kind of played with this a little bit, but I haven't really figured it out. And I'm gonna kind of center myself a little bit away from the bar, and then I'm going to I'm gonna kind of like what he did in Constantine, where I'm gonna pull my hands together like this, and it's gonna be like an effort. And I'm gonna try it a couple of times, and I'm gonna finally just pull my hands together, and it's gonna be activating myself into the Moonwalker. And this is gonna be my first practice run.
In the
I
middle of a
felt it,
bar.
didn't really know what it was.
All right. Would you like to
I'm gonna
describe?
kind of kneel down and just activate it when I get my hands together, pulling against the gravity.
Would you like to describe what you look like in your new activated form?
Uh, so I am going to suddenly take on kind of a really low glow. I'm going to have a similar look to um, the Witchers whenever they drink their potion. My eyes are going to go completely black, but I'm going to have this haze kind of smoking kind of around out of my eyes and kind of just around. And but my skin is going to look suddenly more white than it already was. And I'm going to have a lot of features that might have been red or even maybe blue with veins that are going to be now darkened or black, as though black was running through my veins. So it's going to be kind of a spooky look.
I look, and my years of medical practice tell me that if your eyes are smoking, that's usually not a good sign. So I like panic a little bit, like, Goal, are you all right?
And all of you that are around me, I'm going to take a couple steps closer, and all of you realize gravity starts to feel really weird. As you get closer to me, there is an intense pull of gravity that pulls you down.
I can't move.
I'm gonna
I'm
like
too
start
tired.
putting bottles like away, like where they like won't fly around or anything. I'm just gonna like secure things in my like behind the bar, just kind of like
Batten down the hatches.
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm exploring, so I've not done this before. I knew something was there, but I haven't done it. So I'm kind of looking at myself and waving my hands around, and maybe things that are nearby when I wave my hand around get pushed away, almost like a repellent magnet.
You have too much to drink, Goal? Not enough.
Apparently, just the right amount. I'm going to dash to the other side of the room using this gravity.
Okay.
And I think that I move quickly.
Yep. You're very, very fast.
So then I'm going to dash a couple of times and kind of giggle and then come back to that same spot. And then I'm just going to kind of step and kind of stick my chest out and almost like I'm just stepping out of the transformation back to my normal self. Kind of shake a little bit. That was weird. But I like it.
Let's hope that is not the only time you can do that.
I
Just gone.
Wasted it in the
That's a
fucking
one and
bar
done.
for nothing.
hope not. I felt that, but maybe I just needed to loosen up a little bit.
We could all use a bit of that.
What's the saying? Never go into a battle with a sword you've never swung. You should get used to wielding that power before you need to actually use it. It's a good idea.
You're right.
I'm gonna pour more red wine for myself. Probably have like a lot.
Okay.
Speaking of talking, which is what we do down here, I think we haven't really decided what our next action is going to be. What is our next step? We have the people of Tria still mourning, still dead. Do we still need to bring them back? What's the progress on that front? I kind of look to the two smart guys and the two.
I am immediately going to look towards Father T to like to see what he says.
I believe we are ready to move on that. If I'm remembering correctly, I have figured out most of the temporal magic behind it, and the doctor here has devised a way to amplify the power of the temporal nodes to affect the entire city at once, if I remember.
What do we know logistically on that? How long will it take? Do you need days to do it? Is it something that happens immediately? What kind of
This is
security do we need?
experimental magic. There is no way of knowing. But based on my analysis thus far, Logan.
You think that it should be a relatively quick process, though time is an interesting thing to discuss when you're currently manipulating it. You think that you should be able to do it relatively. It won't take you like days or anything, but you aren't really sure how it's going to work at such a grand scale. And go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
All right, give me 1 second.
Will, I like the sideburns you got going.
Thank you. I got a cool little goatee down here, so it's very patchy. I love it.
Oh yeah, nice.
That character sheets up the wazoo here. There we go.
Seems like everyone's having trouble finding theirs tonight.
Oh yeah, did you ever find Tiago?
I did. Yeah, I got him here.
17.
17.
Oh no. 17 is what I rolled. Plus 4, 21.
21, much better. Okay. In that case, I would say that the thing that you're most worried about during, as far as like other things you need, is protection, because you don't know a lot about this sort of magic, but when you're reading about the breach, you did read on some of the ancillary notes in Vincent's work that discussed things coming out of the breach. And you think using it on such a large scale could potentially allow things to move from an area that he discussed as in between time. And you are worried that there could be potentially issues with things erupting from this space in between time into Tria that would need to be dealt with during this process.
Yes.
Assuming you don't
So
want giant monsters moving everywhere.
time is not an issue. It's more protecting Tria from foreign invaders as the Doctor and I operate the machinery.
Are you referring to outside cities that wouldn't want Tria to come back to its normal stature?
I'm not. Well, that may be another issue. Depending on how stealthy we are about this. I'm referring to creatures from outside of time itself, beings that creep into our world through temporal rifts such as this one. I have no idea what we might face or what sort of creatures they may be. They are just notes that I've deciphered from Vincent.
You don't know if it's something that we can handle, or
I
you don't know
have
if
no
it's something
clue.
we can handle, or small army.
It could be. Could be.
You think the larger the effect you're trying to have, the more things might come through, the bigger things that might come through.
Right.
So,
we are doing something pretty massive here. So,
an unbelievable scale, yes.
Maybe I could put together some men. Do I know anyone in Tria specifically that might be able to get together like hired muscle? Like,
well, you have a big problem where you don't know who's alive in Tria.
Right.
You certainly would know people, but most, well, not most, but many, many, many people in Tria are dead.
Yeah. Okay.
You think you'd probably be better off trying to find people outside of Tria to bring to Tria if that's what you're interested in doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the
my
more
thoughts
people
are
we
like
bring, the less covert the operation is.
exactly. So the options are like if I try to get people from Tria, then their heart is going to be in it. Their willingness for this mission to be accomplished will be, I would imagine, very high. Whereas people from a city like is Joracast allied very well with Tria?
No,
they're not.
God, no.
Right? No. Okay, I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, spreading the word with people in Joracast and trying to assemble troops or whatever from Joracast might be a bad idea. Because then they'd be likely to sabotage us.
What about your friends, Aiken? I believe you have a few operatives that might be interested in helping. They seem like they could keep a secret.
Who?
Aiken.
Oh, shit. I didn't hear the name.
Is a court of some kind, I believe.
The Leviathan. I don't know if Tony's with us or not. We may have lost him. He looked pretty sleepy. Back in the day, I spent some time with my road brothers, as we called each other. It's a bunch of rough gentlemen, but I think they probably still owe me a few favors. I wonder if I could get a hold of them. I know that like in my backstory, I had like characters in Inzarda that like I basically like lived in the like really bad part of town and like was kind of a bandit. And wonder if I could like communicate with them somehow, get a hold of them somehow.
You think they're pretty good for it, as long as you're paying them.
Yeah, I could put together a crew of like kind of nobodies from Inzarda who they know me well. I mean, they're literally my brothers well, not literally. They're as close to brothers as possible as we were like bandits living on the street together. I could see if I could get a way to get them to Tria.
I will say there are other cities as well. Like if you're looking for cities that are closely aligned with Tria, like Uterias, Venrus, places that you guys haven't been are much, much closer than Jorkas is like far end of the spectrum away from them.
But
and
the issue with that is perhaps it presents an aggressive alliance against the Medjocracy.
It just depends if they're not wearing any formal attire, like nobody needs to know what city they're from. I mean, I would have no problem helping disguise them as bandits or whatever, helping us with this operation. No one would know what city they were from.
We would have to,
If that's what it
otherwise
is.
it could spark the very war we're trying to prevent.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So we will follow up on getting mercenaries or some other hired help. That is the first order of business, and then those of us who are the less social, working on the machine, will work out the logistics of it. Is there anything else, Father, that we need to prepare, or like, are we prepared to go, or do we have to?
I'm confident that I can operate the nodes at this point to undo it. Is your technology to amplify the power prepared?
Well, then perhaps we are closer to go than we thought.
If your technology is prepared, then yes, we could go right
I
now.
don't remember if is my technology prepared.
Yes, you're ready
Okay,
to go.
sweet.
Yep.
I couldn't remember if like we got it. We just needed to like move it. I don't know. I couldn't remember what stage we were at. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's ready to go.
Okay.
What sort of device is this that you prepared, Doctor?
What's that? To what now?
What sort of device have you prepared? Like, what is the operation going to be like? It would help if we're planning.
That's a good question, Logan.
Know what we're up against.
I sort of imagined it as like a, a series of basically you take these temporal nodes and you place them in what is essentially like this state levitating between these different pillars that you place, and then the pillars are able to like exude the energy outward to like make a spanning area. So you'd have to put the pillars like around Tria and then have these nodes like hovering in the center of the city, and then they would like, make a little tent of energy.
And we would need to keep these pillars protected as we place the other pillars. We don't want them to get interfered with. This will be quite the job.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So, what are we to do? Are we going to go to these other floating cities to talk about forming some sort of alliance, or are we confident that we can do so with just the militant force of some mercenary groups?
That would be up to, I suppose, Tiago, Aiken, and Gold. And that seems like more the part that you guys are spearheading.
I think the smaller the operation, the less likely it's going to be sabotaged. So if Aiken can bring his men in, that'd be great. And if I can bring in some of my men as well, I think that'd be great as well. Should be sufficient numbers, and we're capable, unless a dragon comes out of the portal or whatever is going to happen. I can't imagine we wouldn't be able to handle it with those resources. If we go any bigger, then there's chances of it going south.
Is perhaps the cities have moved at this point, but the very, very large archery contraption that you use to shoot the weapon out of the air. What is that thing called?
The ballista.
Ballista. Perhaps we could have that on Tria as well, in case there's any, huge thing coming on through that could put a stop to it pretty quick.
That'd be Aiken. Didn't Aiken's men like provide that? Like, didn't they show up with it and we built it?
They like set it up, took it back down.
Oh yeah, we should do that again.
So we will
I
talk to
like
them.
that. That was an excellent ballista, by the way. Perfectly machined and pieces fit together like a puzzle. Well, a perfect shot too. I'm kind of like rambling about the ballista and the beauty of it.
Getting like too excited about it.
The shot was, I mean, let's not understate how effective the shot was, because if it was not for the expert marksmanship, I mean, you all saw what was going to happen. Um, so that is a question, sort of goal one on the itinerary. There is also something else I would like to present to you all, and that is we have been asked probably upwards of 10 times what we are called, like as a unit, and we have not had a name. So I believe that if we are going to get these different groups, the Leviathan or the Bullseyes or the whatever, we also need a name to differentiate ourselves between us and all of us and them. Do you understand? So no pressure, but I would like to sort of open the floor of any time, either now or in the near future, for you to present your ideas to the group.
I'm just gonna stare at you like I have no idea.
All right, just to think about it, sleep on it for a bit.
Well, no part of me wants to be associated with the Bullseye Brigade, as far as I can say.
I have to
We
admit,
we don't need to name ourselves after.
I am not overtly aware of the politics of us and the Bullseye Brigade, or whatever. So, yes, we should be very obviously a separate entity.
Well, my politics are peace. Perhaps we could call ourselves the stewards of the sky.
Well, I mean, what is a steward exactly? That does not invoke a very powerful feeling. It's sort of like a servant or like an underling.
Like a lead, like a leader, a steward. You lead people.
Well, envisioning it as more of like a protector of the order. You know, I don't know. I'm tired. I've been tinkering all day.
Right, as have we all been tinkering all day. I know that feeling. Again, we'll submit it. Perhaps we can all vote on it sometime
What's
in.
the name of a steward who finds justice where there isn't any, or dispenses it? What would that be?
Robin Hood.
Um,
I don't know.
well, that is honestly ultimately attributed to what you define justice as. That is a bit of a broad concept, you know.
Yeah.
Like Goal,
Isn't
Goal when he, stabs the fuck out of someone in the name of his god. Perhaps that is, justice. But sometimes, not everyone. Is it a religious thing? Is it a moral thing? Who decides if it's moral? Who decides if it's legal? It's a very complicated subject to promise for just a group like us.
also true. Also true. Hmm. The nameless. What was your word, Father T? Shepherds? Not shepherds.
Sky. Oh, the other one. I said stewards.
The nameless stewards.
I mean, but by that logic, we have a name.
That is so true.
Like,
I don't know. It needs to be mysterious, right? People want to think they know everything about
yeah,
us
it's
for
gotta
some
have like a
name.
hint of like badassery and like mystery to it. Again, we can think about it. I did not mean to put us all on the spot as of now. Um, I just thought we should keep it in our collective consciousness.
I like it. Logan, what's the first step I can take to try to reach out to someone at like Inzarda or wherever I think that my mercenaries might be, my road brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, just for the sake of ease, that you have these criminal contacts that you can get in touch with to, bring you to all these different organizations and stuff. So you're able to accrue like 10 men for 100 gold.
Can
They'll,
also,
they'll
if
die for you. Sure.
I can attempt to message people, should you need, over long
Yeah.
distances, send them like back through time.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's up to you.
I think that's a good idea. I think to get in touch with. I'm looking up like fantasy names to try to like make like bandits that I know.
Oh, sending. Sending is the spell I'm thinking of.
I mean, I'll say with your combined efforts, it's not overly difficult to find these people.
Okay. Cool.
Great.
Sweet.
Is the air/submarine ship we found? How many occupants could fit inside of that vehicle?
I would say definitely comfortably your whole party. You can maybe stretch it to 10, 12 if you really crammed in there.
Well, I know how we are going to all get to Treya. It is the recruitments and the mercenaries that will have to find their way. Perhaps we may have to provide them compensation.
Aren't we sitting on top of a giant moving body?
You
I
mean
mean,
the
can we
city?
just pick them up in our
Oh, you mean the
big
fortress?
fortress? Yes.
I suppose I don't know the specifics of flying the fortress, but actually, yeah, I
I
suppose.
assume it can move. It's based on the tensor's disc, I believe. That
It
it's
can
up
move
to
around,
us.
but it's a lot more conspicuous, obviously.
Floating castle just tearing through the skies.
Yep.
People might start asking questions and it will draw attention to Trier, but I mean, technically it could work if we, try to.
It's also a lot slower if you're just trying to get there quickly.
Time means nothing. I'm
Says
joking.
says the people who have a giant fracture in the ocean that you haven't even thought about in like 3 sessions.
There's a fracture in the ocean.
Wait, when did we fracture the ocean?
When
You
did we
didn't fracture the ocean, but there is one.
I do not remember
I don't
this.
remember that either. Who was.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I mean, obviously, if
Feeling
someone
bad
told
saying
me,
it
I would
out
have
it
wrote
down.
it down. So obviously, somebody said I didn't need to know.
Was this the dragon? When we were. I'm not gonna worry about it.
There's a large crack in the ocean. That is for sure true.
Well, this is great. Let's do it. We move. I don't know. I'm not a strategist.
Perhaps we can have someone appointed as the lead on this thing, to keep the flow of superiority straight. Someone providing orders.
I just like pour more wine and start drinking it.
I wonder who that could be.
Not it. And like drink more wine. I'm not
If
interested.
you're not interested, then I suggest Aiken. He seems to have experience leading such missions in the past. I don't know
Yes.
if he's here or not right
Although
now, but
sometimes when a lot
Like
of
passed out at the
pressure
table.
is mounted upon him, he is all but silent.
Well, either way, I don't think we're doing this fight tonight, are we? Because I'm getting pretty tired.
Why not again?
No, I think we're good.
What? I just got here. No, I'm just
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah, I have. That's about it. Sorry. That is all for our meeting. All we have to discuss on like schedule. But yes, if there's any more suggestions, we should discuss them before we dive head first. But other than that, I am ready to retire and prepare for our busy day.
Great.
I agree.
So, do we want to pick up there next time with everyone heading to the city? Will, so I presume that is next week also going to be an issue?
Next week is going to be an issue. It's the last week, though, hopefully for the entire semester.
But that actually works out pretty well because the way that this is going to work, you're basically locked in, working on doing this, actually manipulating the time. So I figure if you don't mind, we'll just do the fight without you and stuff.
Please feel free. I'll be there in spirit, and Father T will be busy concentrating on operating this machinery.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
That's
So
like
then,
kind of perfect for you to be gone, and
yeah,
like it makes sense story wise.
yeah. So figure that would be okay. All right, looking forward to it, guys. Is Monday good?